Alright, so those crazy pop-up exploits that you guys have been seeing recently on different streams and different things, they're still going. And that's actually why I'm dropping on one of my off days. So I normally don't drop videos on Saturday and Sunday. That I take off to get my backlog for the week done. However, I wasn't quite able to do some of that, so I'm gonna have to kind of maneuver around this week. But I got some important news for y'all. Those pop-ups that Sauce was getting, that Stormy was getting, that I mentioned in my recent short, they're still going. So there was a patch about a day or two ago that was attempted to fix the Adventure Party pop-up, which it did fix that pop-up, but then the exploiters found a new one. And because they found a new one, they've been using that. And so far, the main victim of the new pop-up was Sauce for a while. So if you saw the short, I'll show that footage again, but you'll see that Sauce's point of view, he was trying to do Darkmoor and stuff on his Die Wills Delete. And because of that, this man was quite literally just trying to do his thing, make his content. And he was getting that too. So then there's another patch that happens. This happened a few hours ago as of this recording. Right now it's the 12th of July as I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning. The patch went down at like, what, 9 or 10 p.m. on the 11th-ish? But either way, the patch happens, they try to fix the second set of pop-ups. There's just one problem. It did not work. And so now because of this, now we're actually having to sit there and worry about this. Now, the reason how I figured this out is because there was a new victim that I saw that it was not Sauce in this case. I don't know if Sauce got hit. I haven't seen his stream tonight. But there was another victim that got hit, and that is another WizTuber by the name of WizHead Pluto, who's a good friend of mine. Like, he's one of my boys now. Matter of fact, one of the first collabs I ever did as a WizTuber was with him and with Frenzy when we were talking about the minion update. We made a tier list. So if you guys remember Pluto, or have heard of him, that's one of my guys. So he actually has footage. Now he took it with his phone, so keep that in mind. He did give me permission to mention him in this video, to mention that he was the one that was attacked this time. Now, hopefully he doesn't get too mad at me for showing this footage. It's just phone footage, and so it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't show his face or nothing like that. But he did show his screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that for you now.
Look at these losers, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, y'all. Like, bro, what is going on with these freaking pop-ups, yo? Like, I know that these things exist. I know that these things are easily exploited now because KI's done 2 patches to combat this and nothing's worked. Like, they got rid of the first one, but then the second one just kind of stuck. It's like I don't know how to explain it, y'all. Now, I have not been targeted, and I have not been hit. If I was to go to a full realm, there is a risk that it would hit me. The good news is, I have ways to click faster than a human because, you know, software. And the good news is, it is through official software such as Razer. Because I have a Razer mouse, right? So, I have a Razer mouse, and I have Razer Synapse, which is the Razer software. It's all like first-party stuff. So, I'm okay. And also, it is the way I recommend doing that stuff if you're gonna do super fast clicky stuff. Is use first party if you can. Do not use third party. If you're gonna do that type of tech like me, use first party. It's official, it's verified, it's legitimate, it's legal. Pretty sure. But that tech is really the only way to get through the pop-ups properly. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there clicking every single input manually. And if they're putting in 150 to 1,000 inputs, there's a couple issues with that. 1, it disrupts the content. 2, it frustrates the streamer and the viewers, making the stream a very much bad experience. And 3, it actually fucks up your hardware too. And here's why. Because every single mouse that's created for a PC, it doesn't matter if it's like a touchpad mouse, it doesn't matter if it's like an actual desktop mouse. Each click of a mouse actually adds that slight bit of wear and tear over time on the hardware of the mouse. See, mice actually have an amount of lifetime clicks that they can actually do. And usually it's like several million or something like that. It sounds like a lot, but trust me, depending on the games you're playing, it can add up very quickly. Wiz is one of those games where there are certain things that if you don't use a first-party tech, you're having to manually click a lot in this game for certain things. For example, if you wanted to, you could click on reagents. If you wanted to, you could click on NPCs, like so. Now, my UI's off, so that's why nothing's popping up. If I turn it back on, you'll see it's there. But you have to click to close. You can hit X to talk, or you can click to talk. It doesn't really matter. But anytime you need to make a purchase, that's a click, that's a click, that's a click. Anytime you want to go over to, like, let's say a trainer, you can either hit X or you can click. And then you have to click on the things that you want, which in this case, I don't want any of this, so I'm just showing you an example. Now let's do another thing. You see Madam here? Let's say I wanted to buy Spellaments. I could just pick one of these, and if I want to do it the normal way, I would have to hit the trade button 15 times to spend my 15 coins. Now, Portal Apparel gives you 690 if you do the bare minimum to complete the event. That is over 690 inputs for the event alone. That doesn't sound like a lot when you hear, oh, 25 million lifetime clicks on the mouse. Now do that every day. Now do that every month for a couple of years. It adds up, y'all. So not only is it disrupting content, not only is it disrupting the servers of the game, but it's also disrupting the life expectancy of the individual's hardware. People don't think about that stuff. Now, I know I just gave some weird technical bullshit there, but it's the truth. Mice can only work for so long, and their clickers can only work for so long. And even your scroll wheel, that only works for so long. I had to replace mine semi-recently because my mouse wheel died. It just stopped working. It, like, disconnected itself in a weird way. And you know, like, so, like, you know how when you're, like, scrolling on a mouse wheel, whether you want to zoom in or out, or you want to scroll up and down a web page, like YouTube or something, it kind of has that little bit of a grippy feeling, like it's grabbing something, kind of. Yeah, that completely stopped on my old mouse. And because of that, because it couldn't really grip to something, that mouse wheel stopped working. I had to replace it. So hardware does go out over time, y'all. So I just want to let you guys know, if you guys get this, the best thing you can do is go to a quieter area, because the good news is this pop-up, well, this pop-up isn't as disruptive because it can't black out your screen. It can't be spammed if you already have one. Bad news is, if they're able to get you, I've heard that there are ways for them to use player IDs. Be able to do it, no matter where you go. So be extremely careful where you guys go. Seriously, like, I'm in the comments, and even a quiet comments is already a risk, let alone if I wanted to go to Ambrose 1. So, moving forward, y'all, until they figure this out, whether they gotta do some technological stuff, or if they have to do some legal stuff, which if a KI person is watching this, I do ask you guys to go deeper into your investigation if you can. If you can spare the time and resources, I highly suggest doing so. Because this is something that's not only going to disrupt the players, but it could also disrupt your business too. And knowing that we all grew up on this game, we don't want this game going because a couple of exploiters took away, you know, membership money that you guys could get, took away crowns money you guys could get. This could hit you in the pocket, and I do not want that to hit you in the pockets to the point where it closes you down. So I would highly suggest looking into this. I don't know why the people are doing it. The only thing I've heard that there's the accusation that it's people in the PvP community. And not only have I heard this from the various content creators who talked about it live, but even one of my viewers actually got hit during a match recently. I have a viewer who was doing PvP. I don't know if it was ranked, I don't know if it was practice. It was probably ranked, because I don't think anybody does practice anymore. But I think he was doing ranked. That viewer can tell me. But he was doing a match, and he got hit. And he's not a content creator, this viewer. He's just a regular player, just like 95% of the player base are just regular players just trying to play the game. He was one of the 95% of normal people. And it's like, what the fuck? Why are they doing this to a non-content creator? There's nothing to gain other than, it being considered a cheating way to win and get some rank, but like, why the hell would you do that to cheat your way to Warlord or even Overlord? Like, there's just no point in it. Because for one, that can get you banned too. What if you get IP banned? What are you gonna do? Buy a VPN? And then what if they ban that IP? What are you gonna do? Just keep paying for that sub that you wouldn't have had you just played the game properly? Now what if they hardware ban you? Well, now you gotta get a new computer if you want to keep playing and do stuff, because, well, that. If I were KI, I would at least see if a legal case is possible. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Because, for real, I don't see this ending until something is done on a legal level. On a technical level, I don't think a technical level is enough anymore, y'all. Like, I think they might actually have to consider a legal solution. Because all the technical solutions have bypasses. And even with modern tech, which some of KI's stuff isn't very modern, so that hurts even worse, but even modern tech, there's bypasses. So it's like, what's tech from 2008 gonna do against tech of 2026? It's gonna lose. So that's something to keep in mind. So I don't know what KI can do other than, see if they can figure out who it is and maybe threaten legal action, because I'm not gonna lie. I think that's the only way to get things moving. That's just my opinion. I don't think any technical workarounds that they can do will work. If they do find a short-term fix, that doesn't do it in the long term. You got to think about long term as well. But that's going to do it for this one, y'all. If you're someone that's been hit by this, be extremely careful where you go and be extremely careful about everything. If you're a streamer, be careful where you are. Stuff like that. Because once they have your player ID, it can get pretty messy very quickly, and it can get disruptive. So, yeah. Just be safe, y'all. My name is Tyr, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night, y'all.